The idea and the seed of the priesthood was planted in my mind in 4th grade by my priest soon after I learned to serve. He came up to me once after Mass and said, "You do a good job up there, you're going to make a good priest someday." And I originally kind of shut it off for the main reason of I hated doing dishes at home, and I saw cleaning up the altar after communion as so I think I'm just going to adopt Father Becker's motto of making the servers do it. So that was kind of the big roadblock, I guess, between me and... So I was very fortunate to grow up in a family where the faith was instilled in me in a very young age. But it wasn't until high school where I kind of started taking it a little more seriously. And sophomore year, I joined a men's group at my high school that our campus minister started. And every once in a while, he would invite some speakers or some guests. And one Thursday morning, he invited Father Paul Rutten, who at the time was our vocation director, and his brother, Joe Rutten, who at the time was a theology teacher at our high school. And the topic was seminary. And so I was kind of interested, to at least figure out what the whole mystery of seminary is. And it was cool for me to see two perspectives. One person who had gone to seminary and felt the call to continue on to the priesthood, and one who had gone, discerned well, and felt the call to marriage. And especially the attitude that he had of how much his seminary formation affected who he was as a man. And so that really inspired me, and it kind of shattered my disposition before of, I kind of had the mindset, when you know you're a priest, or you're supposed to be a priest, then you go to the seminary, instead of you go to the seminary to further discern the priesthood. And so that's when I kind of thought more that this was a possibility for me. So like I said, it was sophomore year. I started praying about it a little more, but I didn't let it bombard me. I was still a sophomore, so I still wanted to, enjoy my high school activities and didn't want it to stress me out. So I started praying about it more, just getting involved in my faith. But then senior year, comes with all the questions of where you're going to go to college, what are you going to do, all these things. So I started asking myself those questions a little more. And I was looking at Benedictine College in Kansas and here. I had visited there a few times. My sister went there, so I had an excuse to go down and visit. And I really liked the community. I loved the school, but I still felt like I needed to come and check out the seminary because it was something that was still on my heart. So one weekend in November, my mom drove myself and two of my friends up to visit the seminary. And it was just such a good weekend, good experience for me. One, to see how normal seminarians are, kind of. I think that view's kind of shattered now. I think we're less normal than I thought before. But that was one major thing for me. Also seeing the fraternity, and then seeing that all these guys were living for something more, living with such a mission that inspired me. And God kind of spoke to me in the chapel when I was here. He actually, I think mostly, he spoke to me in the 5th floor bathroom, which is kind of weird. I was up there brushing my teeth before I was going to bed, and I looked around and I saw all these saint quotes, and they just kind of touched my heart. Not really anything particularly what they said, but just the fact that they were up there. It reminded me of back at home. I had this long list of Bible verses that I wanted to just kind of cut out and put up around my room, kind of, just daily inspirational things. I had that list for probably about a year, and I never got around to it. And so that's just kind of what it made me think of. It was like, wow, I think God is trying to speak to me through this. So the next week, when I was at home in my own bathroom brushing my teeth, I looked around and I didn't see any of these quotes. And I just kind of thought to myself, if I can't even cut out Bible quotes and put them on my wall on my own, how can I discern my vocation on my own? A very logical modus ponens argument to get me to seminary. Dr. Menston would be very proud. But it was kind of that realization, I'm not strong enough or capable to do this on my own. I needed the support system of a seminary and seminary life, because that's exactly what it's designed for. And I'm someone that kind of has to verbally commit. So toothbrush in mouth, I stared at myself in the mirror, and I said, "Tony, you have to go to seminary next year." And I think I lost some toothpaste, but it didn't matter because it was just very freeing to finally make the decision and just have some peace and clarity about it. And so I officially kind of made that decision to myself and had a lot of support from my family and friends, which was very helpful. However, when I came to seminary, I kind of had not a great disposition. It was more so of, okay, I'll come maybe for a year or two, however long it takes God to tell me I'm not supposed to be a priest. Ta-da, I'm still here. And it's just a reminder of how much better God's plan is than my plan. Since I've been here, I've realized so many beautiful things about the priesthood, particularly through the example of our own priests on staff, priests at home, and as well as you guys and our older brothers that have graduated before us, and just their desire for the priesthood and the zeal of souls that they have. So it's just been very good for me to let go of my own will and surrender to that of God. Praise be Jesus Christ.